In today's video, I'm going to be going over the most loved versus the most hated Star Wars skins in Fortnite. Now, throughout the years, and especially this season, we've gotten some really cool Star Wars skins, so I'm looking forward to going over what is the most loved and the most hated. There are some surprises on this list, to be honest with you, and towards the end of the video, I'm going to go over some Star Wars skins that I think should be ranked higher, or considered for the most loved Star Wars skins. But before I do, make sure you comment down below some of your most loved and some of your most hated Star Wars skins, and if you find yourself to enjoy this video, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. Use code TuneSpider in the Fortnite item shop to support me. And now let's get started. Okay, so starting with the number 8 most loved Star Wars skin of all time, we are looking at Padme. And to be honest with you, I'm not surprised about this at all. I mean, anybody that watched Star Wars growing up definitely had a crush on Padme. I'm just kidding though, that's not why this skin is ranked so high. I think a lot of people like her Attack of Clones outfit, and I do see this skin used by Sweats quite a bit, and I also think it came in at a good time during Chapter 4 Season 2. The Star Wars content during that season was incredible. A lot of people were loving it, and I feel like that might play a factor a little bit into it, but overall the skin has two styles. Both of them are super clean, super simple. The all white outfit, then the iconic cut up outfit as well. Overall, it's just a good skin, so I'm not surprised to see it in the most loved category. And now at number 8, under the most hated category, is going to Fennec. To be honest with you, I'm not super surprised by this. Now, I did enjoy her character a little bit in the Book of Boba Fett, but I know that show is not widely popular, and I do feel like for these rankings, people do put like kind of their personal feelings toward the characters into the rankings a little bit. But I will say as a skin, it's pretty basic. I don't think there's anything unique to it. I feel like this is a skin that not a lot of people are looking to purchase, and she's not really an iconic Star Wars character or a character that people think about when they think of Star Wars. So I do think it makes sense that she is kind of hated. But moving on to number 7 for the most loved Star Wars skin, we have the Mandalorian, who is actually in the Battle Pass for Chapter 2 Season 5. The Mandalorian is a pretty loved character in Star Wars, so I'm not really surprised at how high it's rated. I think the character has really cool armor. I think the character has a great design. I think they translated that well into Fortnite, and I do like that you got two styles with this character. Not a huge difference in the styles, but just enough to make it a little different. Plus, when Mandalorian came into the game, the show was still super popular. A lot of people were excited to get him in the Battle Pass, which makes sense why he's the 7th most loved Star Wars character in the game. Now, moving on to number 7 for the most hated is Han Solo, and this one surprised me a little bit, I'm gonna be honest. I know design-wise it's not the most interesting skin. He doesn't have like the coolest outfit, but he's such an iconic character. I'm surprised to find him so low on the list. I do think they did a good job matching how he looked in the original trilogy to the game, but as far as the design of his character being a skin, I could see why Han Solo is not super popular. I just feel like the 7th most hated doesn't really make sense, but what does make sense is the number 6 most loved skin, and that is Darth Vader, who was in the Chapter 3 Season 3 Battle Pass. I mean, for starters, it was absolutely insane that we got Darth Vader in a Battle Pass. I truly do feel bad for whoever didn't play during that time and who couldn't get Darth Vader now. I mean, you do have the samurai Darth Vader, but it's not the classic Darth Vader look from the movies. I mean, come on, he's like the greatest and most iconic villain of all time. Of course he was going to be under the most loved Star Wars skins, and I think they did a pretty good job with his design, which leaves him in the number 6 spot. Now at number 6 for the most hated Star Wars skin, it goes to Rey, and I'm not really surprised by this, not even because of her character design, but because of her character and how many people didn't like her during the sequels. And this is what I was talking about earlier when I think people were letting their personal feelings about the character itself kind of get in the way when they're rating these skins, because I think Rey's Jedi design is actually pretty solid. I think her Jedi design is a little more unique, makes her a little bit different compared to the other Jedis. I like that her design still has a little bit of that scavenger look to her, but you can also tell that she's wearing her Jedi outfit. I don't know, to me, I don't think she should be the number 6 most hated Star Wars skin, but of course this list isn't really based on how I feel. I really don't think she's one of the worst skins, but that is where she is ranked as one of the most hated Star Wars skins. But moving back to the most loved Star Wars skins, and at number 5 is Apprentice Evie, and I'm so glad she is in the top 5. Both her Jedi and her Sith designs are so good. She, in my opinion, is the best mashup skin that we've ever gotten, especially her Sith design with the mask and the hood on. Oh, that is just peak. It is beautiful to see, and I love that her design looks great with the super style as well. And something I really appreciate about this mashup is she feels like a Jedi and Sith with her designs, but you can also tell it's an Evie design as well with the colors, the hair, the sunglasses. I just think it's incredibly well done, and some people have pointed out that her Sith design kind of looks like an Inquisitor, and I love that even more. This is a skin that I will be wearing past this Chapter 6 mini Season 1 Galactic Battle Star Wars season. I really love it, and I'm glad she's in the top 5 right now. But unfortunately, we need to talk about the number 5 most hated Star Wars skin of all time, and even though she's the most iconic female character character in all of Star Wars, it is Leia. This one doesn't really make sense to me as well because I think they did a great job with her design. She has 3 different styles. We of course have her princess design, and I think this is like a one-to-one from the movies into the game, and I think they really perfected this look. Now it is pretty simple, so I understand that, but I think her other styles that represent her Return of the Jedi look are so good. I think they look incredible in the game, and I really like that you can have a headgear on or headgear off style for her. I'm telling you, I don't really see how she's the 5th most hated Star Wars skin of all time. But moving on to the 4th most loved Star Wars skin, it is Captain Phasma. Now I'm going to be honest, I do expect her to drop in the rankings at some point, especially as Fortnite continues with Star Wars collabs and we get even more characters. I do think it's really cool that she ended up being the Lego Pass skin, especially as a Fortnite crew member, I'm not gonna lie. And I do think she has a really cool design. I love that silver chrome. I think it looks really clean. I like that she has her cape. It's also pretty cool that she is a boss on the map. I can see her being a like skin, but I can't really see her being the 4th most loved skin for Star Wars in all of Fortnite, but we will just see how that plays out in the future. But the 4th most hated skin, of course, is another sequel character, and that goes to Finn, who in all honesty got done dirty during the sequel trilogy. They should have just made him a Jedi, but like I kind of talked about with Han Solo, I don't think his design is bad. I think they did a good job translating it from the movie to the game. I just think a lot of people that play Fortnite don't really like this design, it seems like, or it could be similar to a race situation where they really just don't like the character because of the sequels, so they just downvoted him right off the bat and didn't even give him a chance to have a good rating. Now we're moving on to the 3rd highest most loved skin, and that is the First Order Stormtrooper. Not really surprised by this. People love the Stormtrooper designs, including myself. I think they're really cool. They're super iconic. I have no idea if the First Order Stormtrooper skin will stay with this high of a rating, but I will say it's a very clean design, of course. As I mentioned, it's iconic. You can get it for free just by linking your Disney account to your Epic Games account, so I think it makes sense seeing it as a most loved skin. Now the 3rd most hated skin goes to Lando. As much as I love Lando as a character, especially in the original trilogy, I'm not super surprised by this just because of his design. But I will say there's really nothing unique about the design, but again, I want to reiterate, I do love the character, but the skin definitely doesn't seem like it would be popular for the Fortnite crowd. Now moving on to the number 2 most loved Star Wars skin, and it is General Grievous, to no surprise. I feel like every Star Wars fan that plays Fortnite has been waiting for Grievous to be in Fortnite, and they definitely delivered, not only with his General Grievous look, but his Warlord Grievous look as well, his pre-cyborg look. Oh my gosh, it is peak, it is beautiful, it is awesome. I love looking at this skin in game, it is so cool. I'm definitely very happy that they brought Grievous into Fortnite, and I have no arguments against it being the number 2 most loved skin. And now moving on to the number 2 most hated, Zori Bliss, and I'm not really surprised by this. A, another sequel character. B, was in The Rise of Skywalker. C, she was in the movie for about 5 minutes. I will say though, her design is pretty cool. I like her outfit. I really like her helmet. I think part of the reason why she got such a low rating is because she was hardly in Rise of Skywalker, and then she was brought in for that collab back in chapter 2. Overall, I think she does have a really cool design, like I mentioned, but I can see why she's the number 2 most hated. And before I move on to the number 1 most loved, I'm going to talk about the number 1 most hated, and that is the Wookiee team leader. And I'm not surprised by this at all either. A lot of people were not happy that Wookiee team leader took up a battle pass spot. Do I think design wise it deserves number 1? I don't think so. I think a lot of people's rating for it is because she was in the battle pass, and because it's a mini season, it's a shorter battle pass, people did not want collab mashups. I think Apprentice Evie gets a pass though because the design is so good. But yeah, I'm not surprised at all that Wookiee team leader is number 1 most hated Star Wars skin of all time, and now the number 1 most loved Star Wars skin of all time, and I don't see this changing anytime soon, is the Mandalorian warrior. All the customization you can do for this skin, this is peak. This is amazing. You can have so many different styles, so many different presets. If you want to make it look like Jango Fett a little bit, you can. If you want to make it look like Boba Fett a little bit, you can. There's a good amount of color customizations, good amount of different armor styles. You can even get the cape to match and then customize that. I've seen so many cool customizations for the Mandalorian warrior skin across the internet and in my own Discord. Shout out to all of you guys. So like I mentioned, I don't see for a long time this being dethroned its number 1 spot. The customization is just incredible. It's really just such a good skin. and I think it deserves the #1 most loved Star Wars skin. Now I'm gonna just list off a handful of skins that I think should be rated higher or potentially be in the most loved Star Wars skins, and they are Luke Skywalker. I think all 3 styles for him are so good, super accurate from the movies, and along with that I think Anakin and Kylo, both of them have great designs, especially Kylo, and the helmet with the cape and the hood, oh it looks so sick. I'm super surprised they're not rated higher, and these last 2 might be a little bit of a bias, but Darth Maul, my all-time favorite Sith, I feel like he should be rated higher, but I also wish they gave him a cloak with a hood. Just that extra style I think would put him even higher on the list. And Darth Jar Jar. Darth Jar Jar is getting rated super low. Darth Jar Jar might make it into the top 8 most hated Star Wars skins of all time, even by the time this video releases. And it really doesn't make any sense to me. I wonder if it's because people are so mad that it's locked behind XP in the item shop, and I understand that, but I think the quality of the skin is so good, and I just love the fact that we got Darth Jar Jar. But there you have it. Those are the most loved versus most hated Star Wars skins in Fortnite. Let me know what you agree with and what you don't agree with. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and subscribe. If you'd like to join my Discord server, that link is in the description, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace!